Hey everyone and welcome. We are Next Level Business Advisors and this is Business Stories of Success. If you want to break through and achieve your own business success by learning from other successful business owners, you're in the right channel. For more of our content, make sure you click subscribe and don't forget the bell icon so you're the first to be notified when new videos are added. Enjoy today's video.
Hello. You're with Marc Adams at Next Level Business Advisors, and we are honored to have a real live celebrity with us. Hey, that's the way I'm calling it, sister. This is Kristina Henderson from Henderson Promos. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here beyond today with you.
Me too. I mean, this is going to be amazing. And as we get into it, I hope you explain to my listeners why I call you a celebrity.
Sure.
Because you are. So
thank you.
Kristina is joining us from Henderson Promos. And before I start talking too much, I'm just going to throw the ball in your court. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Sure. So my business is Henderson Promos, located in Red Bank, New Jersey. We're a promotional products company. We put logos on t-shirts, hats, bags, you name it, for events. During the pandemic, we pivoted our company and now we're making and manufacturing 3-ply and N95 masks for states, hospitals, nonprofits, and food banks. So we're doing that. I am the current Mrs. New Jersey American, so I'm so excited. So I'm so excited to represent my great home state of New Jersey this year. I've been involved with many nonprofits this year, raising awareness for important causes, and I'll be competing in Vegas for the National Mrs. American title in a week and a half. So I'm so excited.
That is so cool. Yeah. You were talking about, when we chatted before, about the different things that your business is doing, like with the N95 masks and things of that nature. And tell us some of the places that you said you were helping out with that.
Yes, sure. So right now we're on a campaign. It's called Masking Up from Coast to Coast, where we donated over 100,000 masks to food banks. We partnered with Feeding America, and we donated to food banks and nonprofits, not nationwide. So we were in Philadelphia, New Jersey, Atlantic City. We were in New York, in Long Island, and in Harlem, and we are going to be in Florida, and then we're going to be in California as well. And we make these. We're manufacturing these masks, so it just makes sense for us to give back. A big pillar in our life is to give back to our community. And right now we saw the need for masks. Some of the places that we went to, people were wearing dirty cloth masks, and we believe that people should be able to have clean masks with that extra protection. The 3-ply mask has that extra layer for people, unlike a cloth mask, which doesn't really give that extra protection. So we're so happy to be able to give back in this way.
That's awesome. And I like that when you were telling me that you were doing this philanthropic effort, I thought, how cool, you have a successful business, and we'll talk more about that, but to be able to give back is a beautiful thing. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. Oh, of course. Let me ask you a question here. So Henderson Promos, your last name is Henderson. What role do you play in the business?
Sure. So I'm the majority owner and CEO. I'm handling everything from operations to managing our team, to customer relations, to making sure all orders are running smoothly, to our relationships with our manufacturers. So for me, it's it's not a 9 to 5. It's when my eyes open to when my eyes close, basically, job. So it's my life, and I love it. My husband started the business in 2013, and it was called Thrive Promos, and he started just printing t-shirts. He had a printing machine in our kitchen, and he was paying his way through law school. So he wanted to, pay. He didn't want to have to take out so many loans for law school. So he started printing t-shirts in our kitchen, and he would sell them to his friends. And then his friends would like them. They'd tell people. So it was kind of word of mouth. Then it started to grow. And then when I came on board in 2017, I said, let's keep it the family name. And we transformed the business to Henderson Promos. And in my first year, I tripled the company's sales. And now we offer over 700,000 branded items, not just t-shirts, but now we're printing anything. Like we're cutting boards, we're glassware, we're tablecloth, we're signage, we're surfboards and golf bags. Really, for us, the sky's the limit now. So the company has really grown tremendously in such a short amount of time.
That is a short amount of time. That's phenomenal. So not
Thank
only
you.
are you
Thank
the
you.
CEO, you're like well, that's what CEOs, you're the visionary.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Definitely.
awesome. That's awesome. All right,
Thank
so
you.
so
Thank you.
let's do a little bit of well, I'm going to call it bookkeeping, accountant nerd.
Okay.
I told you that
Okay.
already. I'm a nerd, and that's just the way it's going to be. We all have our gifts. So
Yeah.
bookkeeping. How do we find you? Do you have a website?
Yes, so my website is hendersonpromos.com, and anyone could go onto our website and search our branded items, check out our best sellers. If they're looking for a pen, type in pen, and some really cool options will come up. And then you could also shoot me an email. You can email kh@hendersonpromos.com. And if you don't want to spend, hours on our website searching products, if you email me over the price point that you're looking for and the quantity that you'd like to order, I will send over our best sellers that align with what you're looking for. So say you're looking for pens, you're looking for a trendy pen, you only want to spend 50 cents per pen and you're looking for 500 pens. I will send you about 25 options that align with your price point and your quantity, and they'll be our best sellers. So you don't have to search thousands of pens on our website. You can do that, but I'll save you some time and send you over a catalog with those
Oh,
items.
wow. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
So let's
yeah.
spell that name, because I love your plaque behind you. It
Oh,
says it
thank
all,
you.
right? Henderson
Yes,
Promo. So we
that's our
got it. But if
logo.
someone is listening, they won't be
Yes,
able to read that. So
sure,
spell
sure.
Henderson, although it doesn't seem like we have to. how,
So
how do you
Henderson,
spell
so
your
my email,
website?
yeah, so my website is HENDERSON promos, PROMOS.com. And then you can either email info@hendersonpromos.com or KH@hendersonpromos.com. And we'll be glad to help you out.
Beautiful, beautiful. So now let's talk about a bit about your business. You talked a little bit about it, but just a couple questions just to get it clarified. How long have you been in business?
So since 2013, that's when we started. And we've just been evolving ever since. And now we have
Nice.
our PPE division. So we're supplying states and hospitals with the masks and gloves and gowns that they need during this time. So we really pivoted our business when the pandemic hit. And I never thought I'd be in the PPE world. But, when the pandemic happened, we do promos, right? So we do tons of events. We do items for events. And of course, everything stopped all of a sudden. We went from having our best year ever, and we had to pay our bills, pay our employees. And so immediately we saw the need to pivot our business to survive, because we knew that this wasn't going to go away anytime soon. And we really had to make a change. So hospitals were actually starting to come to us for masks and gloves and different items that they needed, and their main supplier wasn't able to produce those items, and they needed them. They were crucial items. So in the beginning, we used our manufacturers overseas that were normally making, our tote bags and pens. They were now making, masks and other PPE items.
Right,
So
right.
in the beginning, we used our manufacturers overseas, and I was on the phone with cargo ships, private planes, working hard to get these items to the people who need them most. And it was high dollars. It was high risk, because I didn't physically have those items in my hand, and I had to pay up front. And it was, we had to take this huge risk with our business to do this. But luckily it panned out, and we were able to supply hospitals and the frontline workers with the PPE they needed. But we realized that we can't rely overseas anymore. It's just high stress. And that's really why we now manufacture in Santa Ana, California, where we don't have to rely overseas anymore, which is so important. And of course, keeping jobs and keeping the manufacturing in the USA is also important to us as well. So we were able to really pivot, and now we're in the PPE world. And I never thought I'd be, in the PPE business, but here I am. We were able to keep our business alive and also help a lot of people at the same time. So I'm so happy that we're able to continue our business in the PPE side, and then also promos have picked up as well. So we're in both areas.
Right. Well, this year has been very interesting. Actually, 2020 was very interesting for a lot of businesses. We saw
Sure.
huge companies just put out there going out of business, sale sign immediately,
Yeah.
right? And it's amazing to me, even before things got ugly, you go to the mall and there were big stores, Neiman Marcus, and I hope I'm not going to get sued, because I don't know if it was really Neiman Marcus, but names like that, names Lord and
Sure.
Taylor, going out of business. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
so quickly. A lot of businesses will be in existence, but they're not able to pivot, right? And they
Sure.
haven't built up
Yeah.
reserves to even last a good solid month. So kudos to you and your team for
Thank
being able
you.
to not just survive, but pivot and then
Mhm.
thrive. And so there's a lesson in there that I want to talk about just briefly
Mhm.
uh,
Sure.
from for our listeners, right? In order to be successful, you learned this trick, obviously. You have to be adaptable. Would you agree with that?
100%. You can't be afraid to take risks.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will fail if you don't take risks, and you can't be afraid to think outside the box, because things happen and you can't control the environment sometimes, and you really have to be willing to adjust your business. Right now, I'm on a tour, the 21 counties of New Jersey as Mrs. New Jersey, and I'm visiting women-owned businesses, women-owned small
Nice.
businesses throughout our states, and really talking with women owners. It's about building a support system for women in business as owners, but it's also about discussing ways that they pivoted their business to survive. And some of the women I've met really have adjusted very well, and have been had a more successful year than even last year by pivoting
Hmm.
their business. But
Yeah.
some of the women I've met, have given up and are not willing to adjust their business during this time. Sorry about that. I just got a phone call on my computer. But they're not willing to, it was like a FaceTime call. I don't know what's weird. Some of the women I've met are not willing to adjust their business model. They might be in an older generation and they don't want to adapt to doing things virtually, doing things online, selling online, doing different things with their social media, revamping their website. And that's really what people have to do right now. They have to really look at their business model and focus on things virtually, focusing on things online, online commerce, and really changing and having, I say to women when I meet them, it's about having, or women or men in business, I say it's about having a plan A, plan B, plan C, or plan D. We don't know how long this is going to last for. It looks like hopefully things will get back to normal soon, but we really
Yes.
don't know.
Right.
And it's so important that we find different ways to adjust. We look at our business model every day and try and work on it and improve in different ways that we can. Because there's
I
always
like
a
that.
way. There's always a way to stand out. There's always a way to be different than your competitors. What sets you apart? How are you going to survive this year and have a better year than last year and not let the pandemic get in your way?
I love it. And so you're in a unique, I'm not going to say unique, but a vantage point because you're the CEO. So we just said you're the visionary. And I like what you just said.
Mhm.
We look at our business model every day or almost every day to make sure that it's probably standing the test of time, that it's able to pivot and
Mhm.
adjust.
Mhm.
And that's what you talked about, that plan
Mhm.
A, B, C, D. That's the work that's
Yeah,
involved in being a successful business owner.
sure.
I advise people all the
Sure.
time, and it's easy to see those who
Yeah.
can't make it because when you give them a suggestion,
Mhm.
they say, well, that won't work. Okay, well, what about this? Well, that won't work. Well, what about well, that won't.
Mhm.
Okay, whoa, why won't it work? Why not? Why not figure how to make it work? And that's what
Yeah.
separates business owners who are successful. So I love the
Yeah.
fact
Keep
that
an
you said,
open mind.
yeah, open mind, and
Yeah.
you review that
Open.
business model. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what I find that's very helpful. One of the things I do every day is I try and do every day is I set my clock for 15 minutes in the morning when I get to work, my timer. And for 15 whole minutes, I set my timer, but I don't have my phone, and I have a piece of paper and a pen. And for those 15 minutes, I'm thinking of ways to transform my business, to grow my business, to do different marketing models. And that's 15 minutes is actually a long time, but then it's actually a short time. So it's not taking that much out of your day. But for those 15 minutes, when you're in complete silence, just focused on how to grow your business, you'd be surprised at the amount that you could really achieve and think of the different things that you could think of to really push your business to the next step.
I'm gonna pause for a second because that was brilliant, and I'm
Oh,
serious too. I'm serious. That is brilliant what you just said. And I want people to just like stop. Like if you're driving,
yeah.
I don't want you to hit the brakes, but I just want you to think for a moment about what this
Yeah,
lady just told us. Take 15 minutes of uninterrupted time and just focus on
yeah.
growth.
Just
And boy,
right, just right.
You're
Yeah,
just right. Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's I think that'll make a world of difference in a lot of what people do if they just take
I
that
hope
into
so.
practice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's not a lot of time,
Yeah,
but it's not
it's
a short
not.
period of time either. It's long enough to
Hmm.
make you engage your mind to grow your business.
Hmm.
Say 15 times
Yeah.
5, if you work 5 days a week, you're at least, that's an hour, right? If I did my math right.
An hour,
So
and in that hour you're really thinking of ways to really revamp your business and to grow in unique ways, and you're writing down different marketing techniques, different techniques, whatever you want to do, or maybe a new business idea that you have. Take those 15 minutes and focus on that idea, and you'll be surprised. I mean, I have notes and notes and notes of pages, and it's really helped me tremendously. And that's I didn't make that up. I read that. I can't remember who does it, but a major CEO does that. And it's like a technique of CEOs and owners to do that technique
I love it.
in the morning. And it's really helped me tremendously. And I highly recommend it to others.
Awesome, awesome. Can we just pretend like you made it up so I can keep calling you David? I mean, come on. He don't have to know. No, that's
Well, I'm
awesome. I
constantly
really
doing
love
research on what major owners and CEOs are doing, and how they're bringing their businesses to the next level. And I recommend people do that as well. Research your idols in business. What are they doing? They're not watching TV. They're not watching Netflix. They're working at home. They're working at the office. They're constantly focused on taking their business to the next level. And that's really what I recommend to people. It's easy to, watch sports, watch TV, watch movies all the time and fall into that. But pushing yourself to the next limit is about not having distractions in your way and really focusing on getting your business out there and
Awesome.
successful. Yeah.
Awesome. So now you're dropping all these gems on us, and I love it. That's beautiful. And we're going to talk more about that too, because that's really
Yeah.
what this is all about. It's about
Yeah.
talking to business owners about
Mhm.
what other successful business owners do to get there. Yeah, and I'm one of those
Yeah.
guys. When I go home, I put that TV on and I zonk out. And then I cry like a baby the next day when I'm like, oh, how come I can't get anything done? And I have to remind myself, owners, we have to move, we have to do things. So take that time, that
Well, if you're
uninterrupted
not
time
doing
to
it,
do
who
it.
else is when it's your
Absolutely.
business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pivot now a little bit. You've given us so many gems
Mhm.
that I want to ask you this question about
Sure.
success. Our title of our podcast is Stories of Success. So how do you
Mhm.
define success?
I define success as not being afraid to take risks, putting yourself out there, staying passionate, hardworking. And success can mean failure, but to be successful, I believe that there are failures involved. You have to
Mhm.
take risks. You might fail, and you can't be afraid to fail. And if you do fail, learn from it and move on and go to the next thing, put it into action, or try again and keep trying again until you succeed. So success really is taking risks and not giving up, in my opinion. And so many people don't take risks. They work a miserable 9-to-5 job and they live for the weekends, most people, unfortunately. And if you have dreams and you have goals, life is short. Now's the time to make them come true, especially during the pandemic, when you can have that time to really look within and make those dreams a reality. If you don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. So I recommend to be successful is to put it into action and start
I
now.
like it. I like it. So then I'm going to assume something. They always say be careful about assumptions. Don't assume. But I'm going to assume that you
Yeah,
consider yourself successful. Am I
I
right?
do.
All
I
right.
do.
Woo!
I consider myself successful, and um, I believe that I am successful because of those things that I just said. I'm not afraid to take
Right.
risks. My husband is my business partner, and he's great at pushing me to the next level too. And it's nice
Nice.
to have someone who does push me to think outside the box and to go to that next level. But I do consider myself successful because I do take those risks, and in order to even to be more successful, I need to continue to take risks in business. I need to continue to put myself out there in different ways. And sure, these ways might make me feel uncomfortable at first, but that's the only way to succeed. You're going to be uncomfortable and you'll get used to it, and then you'll be comfortable, and then you'll have that confidence. So push yourself. And you know, if you're too afraid to take the risk, it's not going to happen if you don't do it, right? If you don't at least try, it's not going to happen. So at least try, and you have a shot. You know, you have to try. And even with being Mrs. New Jersey, if I didn't compete in the if I was too afraid to compete in the pageant, I wouldn't have become Mrs. New Jersey. So I just tried, and you have to keep trying to get there, to make your goals a reality, right?
I like that. My mama always used to say, nothing beats a failure but a try. So that's right.
Yes. There you go.
Now, I know when we try, sometimes we make mistakes and we fail. You actually said it. You said sometimes you fail along the way. So I want to ask you one question. You don't have to tell us, but if you don't mind, what's one big mistake that you've made in your business journey thus far that we can learn from?
Can it be a life journey? Does it have to be?
Okay, well, give me a life journey.
Sure. So when I was 19 years old, I was a flight attendant. I decided to take a break from high school, and take a break from college, and I became a flight attendant before I entered college. I love to travel, and I thought that this could be my career path. And so I was a flight attendant at age of 19, you know, flying to great places around the world. And what I did when I was a flight attendant is I flew to Hawaii, and I flew and for another job interview with a competitor airline. Okay, I was United. It was Continental Connection, now United, right? So it's going back 10 years. And I flew to Hawaii, and I interviewed for Hawaiian Airlines. Now, I did what any 19-year-old would do in Hawaii by themselves. I wanted the whole world to know on Facebook. So I took pictures, stand-up paddleboarding, and I posted it on my Facebook, of course. And my boss had called me from my airline and called me and said, "Are you in Hawaii right now?" And I said, "Yes, I am," because, you know, she could check and she'll know that I'm in Hawaii. Right. Of course, and I don't lie. And so I said, "I'm in Hawaii." And she said, "Well, a coworker of yours showed me the picture of you stand up paddleboarding. I'd like you to come back as soon as possible." And so when I came back, she called me when I was back in New Jersey, and she fired me. And I did not get that job at Hawaiian Airlines. And now I had gotten fired from what I thought was my dream job. I felt like a complete failure. I felt like I let myself down. I let my family down. I didn't even go to college, right? And I thought that this was my career path, and I loved it. I loved traveling. I felt the lowest of the low at that point in my life. And I didn't know how I was going to recover from that. And I was ashamed of myself, and I regretted what I had done. But what I had learned was, oh, and by the way, all the pilots and flight attendants I met, they said that they do that. They fly out for other job interviews. So it was a normal thing, but she had found out. And so I didn't know how I would recover, but looking back on it, it was the greatest decision I've ever made. It led me to where I am today. If I hadn't gotten fired, I wouldn't have moved to Hawaii and lived there for 2 years after that happened. I wouldn't have met my husband. I wouldn't have attended Boston University, my dream school. I wouldn't have and graduated from Boston University with my Bachelor of Science degree. I wouldn't be the CEO and owner of Henderson Promos now. And I wouldn't be Mrs. New Jersey if I hadn't gotten fired. So because of that, what I thought was a failure, because of that, I am now in the spot I am today. And I am so grateful for that failure, right? So it actually was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. So if anyone out there is listening to this and they're thinking of failures, you know, that might be the greatest thing that's ever happened to you. So take that failure and put that energy into something to make your life better.
Okay, thank you. That's beautiful. And that's what I'm waiting for, that nugget, right? Because you could have failed and then just crumpled up in a corner and just imploded. But you just said it. You took your failure and you put energy into turning it around and to doing positive things from a negative result. And business is a lot like that too, right? We might make a mistake It might be horrific, but that doesn't mean we
Yeah.
necessarily have to close our doors. Based on what you
No.
just told us, it can be the greatest thing that can happen to us if we,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm looking for? If we choose to accept what went wrong and then look to how to make it better. Is that smart? I don't know.
Of course, adapt your business. If a new business model failed, then you're going to adapt and do something different, and you're going to find the way to get over that hump. 100%.
Learn from the mistakes, right? Learn from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't get crushed by them. Crush them.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. Yes.
Now,
Yes.
Marc got one. All right, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
All right. So now, what do you think is the single most important quality needed for a business owner?
Confidence.
I like it. Why confidence?
You have to be able to talk to people. You have to be able to represent your business in a positive way and put yourself out there. Again, you can't be afraid to take risks. You need to be a confident person to be successful, and fake it till you make it. If you might feel like you're not confident, just pretend like you are, and you will be. Smile, have energy, embrace your business, embrace opportunity head on. And a lot of people are not confident, and a lot of people lack that confidence, but put yourself out there and rock it.
I love it.
Key. Yeah.
Confidence is key. You're right about that. And if you
believe
have
you'll achieve.
Believe you'll. Okay, I like it. That might be your tagline. Believe you'll achieve. So,
well,
if you don't feel confidence, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So I have a word of the year.
Okay.
And I picked a word for the year that I focus on. And my word, I don't know if you can see that, but it's achieve.
Hold on, I'm blind.
If you can see that,
really cool.
It's achieve. And
I
have it on my desk, and I look at it every day. And any opportunity, I think of my word of the year. And it's a word that I could just think of in everything. So I want to be healthy. I need to drink more water, right? It's something small, but I want to drink more water. Okay, I can achieve it. I can do this. Every day I'm achieving this. I'm achieving my health. I'm working out every day. I can achieve. And I put that word into everything. And that's what I'm focused on, is achieve for every aspect right now. It's my word of the year.
Miss Henderson, you are inspirational. I'm loving this. I'm serious. I'm loving this.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask you a question that you probably have been asked in the past. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to a new business owner?
What advice? Get involved in the community. Get involved. Market your business in ways that you haven't seen before. Follow up with your clients, not once, twice, 7, 8, 9 times. Keep going. Don't give up on clients. Follow up. Create a business model that separates you from other competitor businesses. What separates you? And again, have confidence. Be out there. Get your name out there in different ways. And put the time in. Just put that time in. Wake up. Get energetic. Attack the day. Attack it. That's my advice.
I like it. Attack the day. Okay, very cool. I see you also when you're talking. You kind of throw this jab out like you do Taibo or something. You got all right. I see. I'm glad we're so far away.
Weights and I've been doing that.
That's what it is. I see the form is
that's
like
one of my moves.
Tight. The form is
tight. I guess that's what it is.
Cool. Very cool.
I'm attacking the day.
You're attacking the day. All right. Yes. If you could go back to right before you started your business, right before you got involved in this business, what advice would you give yourself?
What advice would I give myself when I started the business? I guess I would say, you can do it. Go for it. Just go for it. I guess don't sweat the small stuff. I guess that's what it is. Don't sweat the small stuff. I do sometimes sweat the small stuff, and I think about little things that happen that maybe I should have done that a little bit differently. Maybe I should have said this. Maybe I should have, just little things kind of get to me sometimes, and those things don't matter. They don't matter at all. Like, no one remembers this little thing you said. No one just focus on the big picture. don't sweat the small stuff. Just keep rocking and rolling. Just keep at it. So
I
that's what I would
love it.
say. Don't sweat the small stuff.
All
Yeah.
right, ladies and gentlemen, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question? Do we have time for one more? I know
Oh
you're
yeah. Yeah. Ask away.
all right. This one is a little weird. How have
Okay.
mentors and or coaches helped contribute to your
Mm.
success?
Having somebody to look to for business advice is so crucial. It's very, very important, I think, as someone in business, as someone who's running a business, having that support system in some way, I think, is so important for growth. Having a mentor who's been there, done that, and can help save you time and energy and help keep your energy in the right place is so important. One of my mentors is my mother-in-law, who's she's successful in insurance. And sometimes I go to her for advice in certain business situations, and she gives me really solid, great advice that really helps me focus on what really matters and what's really important, because she's been there. And I think that it's important in any business that you have a mentor that is successful and knows what they're doing and has been through a lot of the same stuff, same things, whatever that may be, and that can save you time and energy and keep you on a positive path, for sure.
I like that. And you do that for others too, right? You're helping these women entrepreneurs in every county. So that's awesome. That's a beautiful experience.
That's one of my main missions in business. Of course, is giving back to nonprofits, but it's also helping women in business and women and men in business. When they start, I'm on the tour to women-owned businesses, but I meet all kinds of people in business, and I think it's so important that they have someone to look to stay positive and to stay motivated and not be afraid to fail, not be afraid to take risks, and talk with someone who's maybe been there and done that. I took this huge risk pivoting my business during the pandemic, and it's so important that we think outside the box and we're not afraid to fail, and that we have a support system. And I love supporting other people in business, people who might just be getting started, who come to me for promos. I'm so happy to help them out in any way I can. That's something about Henderson Promos that also sets us apart. Not only do we give back to a number of nonprofits, but we also make referrals for our clients. We're out there in the community constantly pushing business to our clients. So they might spend a certain amount on t-shirts with us, but they'll get that money back by us making referrals. And I think that's so important that we support our community and we support our fellow small businesses, especially during this time where small businesses are suffering. I think it's so important that we, it could be something small, just getting a cup of coffee from a local shop instead of, a big shop like Starbucks, going to support your local coffee shop, because they could really use the support right now. And it's all about thinking of those little things, support a local boutique instead of, a big department store. It's different things like that really help our community thrive.
I like it. I really appreciate how you when you talk about success, you've talked about, and I've asked you about yourself and your business, but you have constantly turned that outward and how you can extend what your success has been to others. And that's a beautiful quality to have as a person and as a business owner. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's all about helping other people grow. I mean, what's the point of me growing my business if I can't help my fellow community members? I can't help my neighbors succeed too. I don't want to see any businesses fail, especially during this time. It's about lifting each other up. And of course, as well as the nonprofits, I work with a number of nonprofits. Real quick, two of the ones I'm working with closely is the Tigger House Foundation, which raises awareness for opioid addiction. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, overdoses have increased in the state of New Jersey, over 17%. So it's so important that we change the stigma surrounding this disease and really educate the youth on the dangers of addiction. And so I work with them, and our nonprofits could really use support during this time. And I also work with the Employer Kids Foundation, an organization that gives the arts to kids whose families can't afford it. So singing, dancing, instrumental lessons, they fund that to students to kids whose families can't afford it. So especially during this time, during the pandemic, when kids are stuck at home with nothing to do and no outlet, that's when they can get mixed up with drugs and alcohol and different things like that. So the Florida Kids Foundation really helps to keep kids in a hobby and active and pursuing something that they love. So I'm so happy to support those two organizations, and also, of course, fulfill the food bank of Monmouth and Ocean County, feeding the hungry. That's another reason why we donated over 100,000 masks to different food banks, because the need for food has increased 40 to 60% nationwide. So it's so important that we give back to our food banks, because so many people are hungry, and we need to really help our community get over this hump and really be there to support. You know, we physically handed out masks in person in these different locations that we were at, and it was so moving to see people, you know, standing in line for hours. Some of the places that we went to, people were in line for over 7 hours in the freezing cold, waiting for a warm meal and for the masks. And wow. There was children in the line, and there was older folks, and there were little dogs in the line shivering. And it really was moving. And to help out in any way I can. Right now we can help out with the masks, but maybe in the future there's a different way that we can help out. Right. Where our business takes us with clothes or different things, and people are in need right now. And it's so important that we give back in any way that we can. Everybody can give back in a different way. And I highly recommend, giving back any way you can.
Well, that's beautiful. I love your passion for helping others. So that's just a beautiful quality. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marc.
Hey, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I want to just thank you so much for your pearls of wisdom.
Thank you.
I'm serious. Your gems. We look forward to continuing to see you on your journey to success, and we can't wait to see you win this contest.
Oh, thank you so much, Marc. This was so great. I really appreciate you having me on today.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.